Sydney Couye, also known as Z Sports journalist, and
Chris Williams, co-host of Sydney's on the Clock.
And welcome back to another episode. Look, delayed but not denied episode of Sydney's on the Clock. I miss being here with you, Chris.
I do too, Sid. I miss you too.
It's been a good little minute.
Yeah.
What you been up to? Like, we haven't really caught up. What you been up to since we've been going?
Man, just getting sponsorships, getting everything in order for the semester, summer work, things like that. So.
Right, we're going into our senior years finally, long awaited. Currently trying to keep up with all my finals. They've been doing a number on me, I could definitely say that.
Yeah.
But to move on into the conversation, we'll be talking about so much today on Sydney's on the Clock. But first, starting off, the WNBA. The WNBA now has a bunch of new talent, fresh faces, and not just regular talent, but I mean mainstream media, popular talent. What's your take on what's been going on, especially now that we're going into preseason with the WNBA?
I think it's a great thing for not only sports, but women in general. This allows them to have a platform that they never would have had before. Not saying they didn't have the coverage, but because of social media, because of TikTok, because of different things, they actually have that opportunity to do it now.
So since you're talking about a platform, and of course we already know when it comes to the men's league, which is the NBA, you could turn on virtually almost any channel and catch a basketball game. However, we were talking beforehand, that's not the case for the women's, especially now that you have all these big names like Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Camila Cardoso, Cameron Brink. You have some of the biggest names in women's athletics, period, not just basketball, and they're still not getting the coverage. What needs to get fixed, and how should the league implement the fix so viewers can start seeing all the talent that the WNBA has?
We have to kind of, this may be a little biased, but we're going to say it right here. You kind of have to put your emotions aside. Okay, this is a new generation of talent. You have Caitlin Clark, you have Cameron Brink, but at the same time, they have a couple of haters. They have the Diana Taurasi, the Sue Birds, who think because of these young players having this platform, that they won't get the coverage that they always wanted.
So you're saying that, okay, because let's clarify that.
Yeah.
You're saying it's the inner problems within the WNBA, which is why it's not getting the amount of coverage it should be getting?
Yes.
Really?
I do think so, Sid.
See, I don't agree. I think it's one of those things where it's the fact that the NBA, or at least the WNBA, still needs to expand. There's not as much money coming in, obviously, compared to the men's league. Men, think about the starting contracts. The only way that these new rookies are actually getting paid, for instance, look at Angel Reese's contract, look at Caitlin Clark's contract. That's virtually a teacher's salary now, which is around $70,000 a year. But they're signing these multi-million-dollar contracts with Nike, with Reebok. That's how they're getting their money.
And also the NIL deals as well.
Especially, they're still bringing out NIL deals whenever they were still playing their last season in college. So I don't think it's necessarily the inner workings, because what we're not going to do is pin women against each other. Let's not do that. But what I can say, I think is one of those things where brands need to find a way how to market women talent. Specifically, for instance, Angel Reese just signed almost a $12 million contract with Reebok. And they did that specifically because they see the type of mainstream. They see that she is a business. She's not just an athlete. Her name in itself is marketable. She's a brand. And I think the WNBA needs to learn how to flip that, because especially whenever you have the new draft, not everybody's going to get signed to a team. Not everybody's going to stay with the team, because the draft, at least the roster spots, are not as much compared to the league. And there's only about 10 teams.
And I can also say about this with the young lady that was with the Las Vegas Aces from Jackson State. She was sadly let go. So, but at the same time, I agree partially with that, but at the same time, it's a business thing. You have to learn how to promote these players, but it takes something to let go of that. You have to let go.
Yeah, but you were just saying it was the inner workings between the women's on the, which is why they're not getting marketed, which I don't agree with. Yeah. I got to side eye you on that one, Chris. But we will be right back with Sydney's on the Clock. Please stay tuned, as we will now be talking about football.
owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're turning Teacher Appreciation Week into a month-long celebration. Bring your teacher ID to any of our dealerships and save an additional $500 off of any new car purchase. It's our way of saying thanks for all you do in the classroom at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
And we are back with Sydney's on the clock. Now, Chris.
Yep.
We just got a little toe-to-toe when it came to basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But football, what is going on with football? For instance, we just had the NFL draft not too long ago. One of the most controversial picks was Michael Penix Jr. was taken 8th overall by the Atlanta Falcons. After they just gave Kirk Cousins a 4-year
$180 million.
A 4-year pact worth for almost 4 years. That's about $45 million a year. They just gave him a QB, even though he's out with an Achilles injury.
And even, mind you, Sid, he only had one playoff win his whole career.
Think about it, or at least I want your perspective.
Okay.
What were the Falcons thinking going into this?
I think, okay, in my opinion, Sid, let's just say if I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm gonna feel some type of way, because if you just draft some kid after giving me that much money, saying, okay, here's the keys to my offense, but yet you draft some kid who's injury riddled, but good. He had 2 good seasons at Washington, but at the same time, he's not durable. And my other quarterback is not durable. So in this situation, it's not a good pick for anybody. Nobody's going to win.
Do you think Cousins is going to last long being with the Falcons, or you think they're going to end up trading him later on into the season?
I think it depends on how his production goes. I think it depends on how Kyle Pitts does. It depends on how the defense does. But at the same time, like even with Brett Favre going into him, he struggled at the end of his career. Mm-hmm. And they put in Aaron Rodgers. So at the same time, Kirk Cousins could play the best ball that he ever has played in his career because Penix is there, because he now has competition.
You see, the only thing I can say is that the last team that I know that have done something like this, for instance, was Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love. Yep. And we saw how that happened. It wasn't necessarily the worst decision, but we can guarantee you when you have a talent coming like that, especially whenever you have somebody who plays well, like I said, with Washington, I don't necessarily think maybe not a starting QB their first year, but definitely play backup and then go into that starting QB role. But now you have two QBs, even though one is more accomplished, more seasoned because they've been in the league a lot longer, versus somebody who almost might be the same age, which is a joke, but
injury riddled. You can even see that at the University of Indiana.
Right.
For 4 seasons, he only really played like 7 or 6 games his entire career there. Mm-hmm. He only had 2 good seasons at Washington.
But see, I'm looking at quotes right here off of Bleacher Report. Whenever General Manager Terry Fontenot, he specifically said, or he told the media, when the media asked, whenever it came, basically whenever they had the draft call, everybody was like, what's going on? And he said this decision was made with long-term in mind. But I still genuinely cannot encapsulate what exactly long-term are they thinking with this pick. That doesn't make any sense.
Because also, he has, I think he had knee injuries.
Mm-hmm.
What else? ACL.
He had an ACL
injuries.
injury. He had a knee injury, and then he also believed there was something also with his ankle as well too.
So there's no denying that Penix has talent. He's a Heisman Trophy finalist, and he went to the national championship. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's the durability of that player. How long are they going to last?
And so since we're coming off a topic specifically talking about which was probably one of the most controversial picks of the draft, what do you think was probably one of the biggest steals of the draft? Which team walked away with the most basically to gain now that they chose their top 10 players?
Oh, Jaden Daniels.
Oh, of course.
Jaden Daniels to the Washington Commanders. Because you can see the production that he has put at LSU, like the Heisman, the SEC championship appearances as well. But you can see that he's a leader. You can see that he's a team player as well. And you need that as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And also I just feel like it's a better fit for them. And then they're under new management. Like Magic Johnson's a part-time owner. They have new ownership. You don't have Dan Snyder, who actually ruined the Washington football organization. So if they can use him correctly, but use his skill set, they'll be good.
And this will be this end of the segment at Sydney's on the Clock. We'll be right back after commercial break.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at L'Auberge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Embrace the luxury, safety, and comfort of Mazda with 0% financing at Team Mazda. Right now, get 0% financing on any new Mazda CX-5, Mazda CX-30, Mazda CX-50, or Mazda CX-90. The savings are here at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements. And that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're turning Teacher Appreciation Week into a month-long celebration. Bring your teacher ID to any of our dealerships and save an additional $500 off of any new car purchase. It's our way of saying thanks for all you do in the classroom at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
And we are back once again with Sydney's on the clock. So going to basketball, I know we've jumped from basketball to football right back to basketball. But talking about the NBA, the Lakers have been a dynasty for who knows how long.
For decades.
Decades. I vividly remember growing up, mind you, my family's from New Orleans. So they've always been Pelicans or the Hornets, you know, whenever they were in New Orleans as well too, but down. But all I could hear my dad talk about was the Lakers, the Lakers, the Lakers. And the Lakers just released their head coach, Coach Darvin Ham.
He was a player too as well.
Exactly. Is the Lakers franchise a place where head coaches go to die or lose their career?
It is, because you can see Luke Walton, Bill Walton's son, he was fired. Frank Vogel, who's now the coach of the Phoenix Suns, he was fired. So somebody has to be blamed, Sid. Is it Jeannie Buss, the owner, or is it LeBron James for that?
So you were talking about that earlier. I want you to go more in depth talking about something. You think LeBron is the problem here?
He is the problem because let's be honest, Sid. What owner would give you more power over the team? Yes, you won 4 championships. Yes, you are one of the GOATs of the game. But at the same time, you kind of have to realize, okay, I'm the player. I'm not an owner. I'm not, I'm not over this. The coach, this is the coach's team.
But we've seen it time and time again, because specifically, whenever Frank Vogel, he won a whole NBA championship, got dismissed shortly after. So we see I think it honestly comes down with the front office when you think about it, because they're already interested in somebody else. Kenny Atkinson, who's one of the assistant coaches for the Warriors, they're already seeking him out to sign him on. Do you think that, especially with Atkinson being with such amazing teams, but not to mention who's been with one of the stronger front offices in the past decade, do you think that's a change that needs to happen, given the fact that he may be let go eventually after 1 or 2 seasons that we've seen with the Lakers?
I think it's kind of like, give me an example, it's kind of like a relationship, Sid. So basically, after that thing, you're trying to get that next best thing. But really, if you actually work with that old thing, it can branch out into something that's great. But I mean, from him going from the Warriors, like, that could be, I would rather Jason Kidd, but Jason Kidd already signed an extension with the Mavs. He's the best player coach that would be for the Lakers. But like you said, with the guy from the Warriors, I don't think
Kenny Atkinson.
With Kenny Atkinson, they struggled. They didn't make the playoffs, didn't they?
No, they didn't make the play-in.
No, they didn't make the play-in. So at the same time, this can have some pros and cons with that.
So now that we've seen that it's now playoffs,
Eastern
versus Western Conference, who do you have pitted to win, or at least not even necessarily win? Let's go Eastern Conference Championship and Western Conference Championship.
Eastern Conference, I got the Knicks. The Western Conference, I got Ant and the Timberwolves. I got them. I'm sorry. Just the amount of production, the camaraderie between the players, it's no match for anybody.
So you don't think the Nuggets can go back-to-back?
No, they can't.
Oh, you said that quick.
They can't. Because let's be honest, like, even with Jamal Murray had that, he was injured for about 2 years. But every single time with Jokic, they made the playoffs, but they never got past the first or second round. So maybe they need more muscle. Maybe they need more all-around players.
Because Jamal Murray still, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but he still hasn't been named to an all-star team yet, if I'm wrong. And however, of course, you have one of the most valuable players in the league, or at least of his generation, which is Nikola Jokic. So given the fact that you still have not necessarily a younger team, but you don't have a team that's as seasoned compared to these other teams you're playing against, especially when we're talking about star power, I can see what you're coming from when it comes to the Nuggets. I feel like they've relied so much on Murray, on Michael Porter, on Nikola, to the point to where your bench is not executing the way it should be, and we're seeing it a lot, especially with these games going into the playoffs.
You can see with the Knicks. The Knicks have bench players as well who are pretty good. Yeah, but we'll be right back with more Sydney's on the clock.
We'll be right back with Sydney's on the clock.
things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Embrace the luxury, safety, and comfort of Mazda with 0% financing at Team Mazda. Right now, get 0% financing on any new Mazda CX-5, Mazda CX-30, Mazda CX-50, or Mazda CX-90. The savings are here at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
And we are back with the last segment of none other than Sydney's On the Clock. So, like we've been talking about, we've been going back and forth from sport to sport.
Mm-hmm.
Since we've seen, or going back to at least women's basketball, WNBA, since we've seen absolutely so many amazing players get dropped just due to the fact of roster cuts. And we already know that or at least the WNBA needs to expand. What are some of the host cities or cities you think need a team?
Oh, we need New Orleans. New Orleans for sure.
You think New Orleans has the market for a WNBA team when they barely have one for an NBA team?
I mean, yeah, they should. Okay, we have a men's team. Why not have a successful women's team? Why not recruit some of the players from the South or from the SEC to go to New Orleans?
Which I can understand that, but at the same time, too, if we're going that, we should go back to whenever Houston had the Sparks. Sparks was in a championship team. They won 3 years back to back to back. That was the first time a WNBA team has even done that. That was back during the 90s, from the 90s to 95. Like 2-3 years spread out against that. But if anybody needs a team, it needs to go back to Houston.
I mean, but that's debatable, though, okay? So, yes, Houston's the bigger market, but what market do you want to go to?
But this is a football state. That's the problem. We've even seen that with the NBA, or at least with the Pelicans, which is why the Hornets had moved initially. This is a football. Look, you already know. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. That's throughout the entire state. The Saints. Everybody's who that nation. So you really think that at least the city? Okay, how would I say this too? Because you have to go back to cities that are really big with basketball. Like for instance, Seattle. Seattle needs a team. We already know that. Seattle needs a team, not just with them, but like in general. Then you have other places like Portland. You have other places like the Bay, which are currently working on right now with the men's opposite or men's adjacent with the women's team. But what other places beside New Orleans then?
New Orleans. What else? It's other. Well, I don't know which other places it, but it has to be one of those cities where it doesn't have a lot of production.
So question. So how many teams do you think the WNBA needs to implement within the next coming years for them to actually stay afloat?
It has to be at least 5 teams. But it also, not just bringing those teams to the city, but it also has to be like media rights. Who's going to go to the games? Who's going to have the revenue to build stadiums there as well? So that's all according to that.
See, so moving on from we're going to professional on the way to college. Early picks, your rankings for women's college basketball going into next season. I still think it's going to be the Gamecocks. Then after that, UConn. USC, I say third after UConn. And I think LSU won't be in the top 10 this year, but I think they'll be in top 25.
Do you think with LSU they're going to build around Anissa Morrow?
I can see them definitely trying, especially in the fact that Haley done transferred. We've seen that she transferred schools. Then on top of that, I can say Kim Mulkey's been doing a decent job with her recruiting class coming in.
But do you also think, even with Kim Mulkey, that because with the situation that happened with Haley Van Life, she didn't use her like she needed to in the national championship.
But it's not even necessarily that the user, it's the fact that you're guarding one of the best players that the women's basketball have ever seen. Of course she was going to get her ankles took. It's Caitlin Clark.
But also,
if you're doing pull-up threes from mid-court, what are you supposed to do?
But also,
what can you do?
But also, she was 5'7" though. She should have had a quick-footed 5'10".
But she had last year Poa. She was also guarding her too whenever they subbed out with Haley Van Liv, and they both were no match. Because again, that's Caitlin Clark. That's like your adjacent of saying your college equivalent. If LeBron went to college, that's your equivalent of saying that's LeBron James, just in a woman's body.
Yeah, but you can
obviously not the
anybody.
playing styles, but you know what I'm saying.
But you can use anybody. Maybe Juju Watkins on there. She's 6'2".
But then again, that's for USC. That's what I'm saying. But we're talking about LSU.
Yeah.
But Chris, this has been a show that near and dear to my heart because honestly, I missed it. We haven't been here in a good little minute. So this has been none other than Sydney Coulier
and Chris Williams
signing out with Sydney's on the clock.